Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be exploring the changes in this space, figuring out how we can navigate the changes as a creator and make decisions so that you can plan for the future. Let's jump into it. So we all know a brief history of OF. It started a long time ago, but when it really had its increase of popularity, it was during the pandemic. It was a time when people were at home, people were using their phones, whether that was fans or creators. So there was really an explode of the industry. And ever since then, I think there has been a slow change in the platform that has definitely taken a hit on creators, whether that's growing as pre-existing creators or for newer creators trying to join now. I think that it's definitely a different world, and we're seeing that it's more challenging to build a business like this. And I think that's why today I really wanted to talk about it, because I've noticed so many changes and I've had to put in place a lot of different strategies so that I can continue to grow and scale my business. And it hasn't been easy, so I do want to share those things with you so that you can also make the changes that you need so that you can still be successful in this industry. So some of the notable changes are, one, that they have not adapted, that OnlyFans has kind of stayed comfortable in the way that they run their business, and they haven't made it easy for creators to grow. They haven't made it easy because they still do not have a discover page. They still have not literally put any changes for years other than putting in policies. They really haven't changed the actual platform itself for creators and for fans to really enjoy the platform. They haven't really thought about the usability and the user experience at all. They've really just put in new policies to make it harder for creators to create. Yeah, that's the first thing that's kind of shifted, is that there hasn't been that many shifts. And that's kind of like, it sounds strange, but it is like a really big thing. I feel like they haven't adapted to the times when so many other platforms are giving us more. Another notable change is that because of the boom that happened in 2020 during the pandemic, the competition, and when I say competition, I use that really lightly because I don't think that we're competing. I think that as creators, we're in this together, and that we do have to kind of build each other up to build our business. We have to get, people interested in the content. But I think because of the competition, and when I say competition, I actually mean because it's more mainstream now, because people are used to OF and they're used to adult content, I think that it's become a little less novelty, and people don't see it as like, oh my gosh, I need to see this. It's more, if they find interest in you personally, then they'll want to see more from you. But you really do have to build this brand. It's not as easy to just jump on, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh my gosh, like a new creator making adult content. Like, it's not something so shock value anymore. It's like you really have to cultivate the relationship with your fans to get them into these platforms. So that's kind of a notable change as well. Now, as I mentioned a second ago, the next thing that is a notable change is their policy changes. On OF, there has been so many policy changes and so much content taken down. And I forget when it was, October of like a couple years ago, they wanted to actually take adult content off their platform, and they sent everyone an email, and it was this whole thing. And then obviously they couldn't just take down all the people that were making them money, so they ended up letting us stay. But slowly and surely, I've noticed like more and more content getting removed, more and more people getting these docs to their accounts because of the content that they're creating, just without any warning. Like, I had my profile taken down for a week and a ton of my content removed, and a lot of it, I had no idea why it was removed. So a lot of their changing policies, I think, are some notable changes that we just have to keep in mind. And last but not least, it is the public perception. And like I said, I think this is a good thing, but also does take a hit to adult content creators in a way. Like I mentioned a second ago, it is less novelty. It is more accepted. I think that is a great thing, because obviously we want to be accepted and we want to be able to make this content freely and not feel like we're doing something bad, because we're not. We're all consenting adults. adults, and that's totally fine to do whatever we want with our bodies. But I think it does take a hit to that novelty and that excitement because people were so shocked by it before. So those are just some notable changes. Let's jump into how to adapt to these changes. The first thing, and I think the most important thing, and I've always tried to push this, is that you need to diversify your portfolio. You need to diversify your content and where it's going, because you never want to be pigeonholed into one thing, and then if that one thing fails, you have nothing to fall back on. And I've said this from the beginning, you want to have multiple streams of income, and you have to figure out ways to do that as somebody who's self-employed and doing this type of content. You are self-employed, and you don't want to rely on one single platform because you just never know what could happen. You want to build a brand, and we'll get into that. And also, not just diversifying your platforms, but diversify your content as well. You never know what somebody might be interested in. So when you do build a brand, obviously you want to find a niche that works for you, but you want to also be able to cater to the masses. You want to be able to make content that a lot of people will enjoy as well. So if there is something that's not working for you, you want to make sure that you kind of switch that up. And what I like to do is have kind of like 3 different categories, 3 different niches. So you're hitting 3 different markets. If one of them isn't working that well, you can drop that and pick up another one. So really hitting 3 different target audiences. That way you can still build a really solid brand, but you are reaching a lot more people. So don't just make one type of content on one platform. Really think about how you can diversify the platforms, but also the content itself. And a really great way to diversify some of your content is showing the behind the scenes. It's showing, tutorials on how to do things, and it's showing your journey. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. So do your research and find what works for you. And also constantly be trying different things if something isn't working, because eventually you'll find what does work, and then you can keep running with that until you need to, again, reevaluate and make some changes. I think it's important to note that social media in general and like the internet and the world is just constantly changing. So you have to be able to adapt to those changes and know when to put something to rest and just start fresh. So the next way to navigate these changes is to build a brand outside of your adult content. You want to think beyond S-work and beyond what you can do on these platforms. You want to think about your socials. I think a lot of people miss the mark with that. Is you can make money through brand deals if you're doing stuff on social media that supports that type of content. So really building a brand outside of that. And maybe if you do want to just promote the hell out of S-work, then you could build your own brand, whether that's like S toys or, adult toys, or like something that has to do with that, lingerie or whatever. You want to build something outside of the platforms that is completely yours, that you have full control over, that is not going to be taken down, removed, or just ended somehow. It's your own thing where you build your own audience that really loves your brand. So you want to think about how can you go beyond? Maybe that's merchandise, maybe that's social media, maybe that's a personal website. Just think about all the different things that you can provide somebody, and think about what that provides to somebody. Because if you build a brand and it doesn't actually provide anything for the audience, then it's not going to be a good brand. So this is something that you really have to think thoroughly through. You want to provide like something to your fans, whether that's education, entertainment, or something along those lines. And think about those things, but really think about how you can go beyond. And the last way that I really think is important, especially right now, to adapt to these changes is to go live and understand your audience. A huge part about adapting to changes is learning from the people that will tell you what's changing and tell you what they want from you. So sometimes people don't know what they want, and you kind of have to just gather the data and show them what they want. But a lot of the times, going live especially is a great way to engage with your fans, get to know your fans, see what they want, hear from them, and take that data and put it into good use. So going live right now, not only is it great for engagement and interaction and also pushing yourself on any feed, whether that's like social media or on your spicy accounts. Obviously the platforms are going to be pushing you if you are going live because they really support that right now. But also you are going to be able to understand your audience better. And I feel like beyond like pushing yourself out there, that is one of the most important key factors in this type of work, is getting to know your audience. So that's going to be a really good way to be able to adapt and learn with your audience. So let's talk about how to adapt to the financial changes that you might see going forward. So like I said, you really want to diversify your portfolio so that if one thing isn't working, you can make money somewhere else. And that, I think, is so important to think about. And you want to be able to have, I think it's 7 different streams of income. So you want to think about external ways that you can make money, but you also want to think about how you can plan for the future. Financial planning is so important. So that's something that you want to think about, especially as a self-employed person, because you never know what months are going to be really high months or really low months, and how you can kind of adapt to those different changes. And I've talked about this before a few times, but even on my OnlyFans, I noticed that certain months are better than others. And after a couple of years, I learned that like certain seasons were better, certain months were better, and then that way I could plan for the months that weren't as good. So what you really want to do is build 7 streams of income. And this can be very difficult and very confusing in the beginning, because you're like, wait, 7? Like, how do I do that? Start small, think small. What can you create that are places that you can make income? So one thing is social media and talking with brands and trying to get some brand deals. So you really want to think, what can appeal to brands when you create your social media. If you are very sensual on social media, maybe you can work with swimsuit brands, lingerie brands, adult toy brands, those types of brands. And that's one stream of income, right? Even if you get one brand deal a month, that is a stream of income, and maybe it's a big brand deal. If you do YouTube, you have AdSense, but you can also do brand deals there. If you have TikTok, you can also have a sort of AdSense. They have a creator fund, and then they also have another system that pays you as well. So they have 2 different options there. And then again, brand deals with them. If you make merch, if you make a certain product, if you make a digital product, that's another stream of income. If you also work for a company, that's another stream of income. And then you have your OF, and then you should be thinking about where else you want it. Maybe you have a slushie. Also, this was a weird coincidence that I wore this shirt today, but if you have a slushie, that is another stream of income. So really put yourself, if you have a friendly, that's another stream of income. Think about all the different places that you can make money that don't take too much work to actually put in, and those are some things that you can do. And there's also tons of other opportunities as well. Maybe you're really great at investing. Don't ask me for advice there, but maybe that's another way you make money. Maybe you sell things on the side. That's another stream of income. Really think about all the different opportunities that you can create for yourself, because that is how you build a really good, solid, diversified portfolio. If one thing isn't doing too well, something else will, and you never have to worry that way. I also think it's really important to, like I said, financially plan for your future. And maybe that means you have to spend a little money and talk to a financial advisor, talk to some experts about how you can plan, and think about where you're saving your money. Is it in a high yield savings account? Is it in a Roth IRA? Where is your money? And how can you keep that growing for the future? I think that's an important part about adapting to changes, because you never know what could happen, and you just want to make sure you're set up so that you're comfortable in the future. So that's something to take in consideration as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, another part about kind of adapting to everything is learning about new platforms. And I've been pushing Slushie. I am wearing the shirt. Again, like I said, this was totally not planned. I was just wearing this today. But you need to get yourself on alternate platforms. As I mentioned, things are changing, and these platforms are getting better, and they're growing with the times. And if a platform is not growing with the times, then you're going to be left behind. And Slushie is one that I have been partnered with, and I really, really strongly believe in. The whole team at Slushie is incredible people that care about the growth of the platform, that care about the growth of creators, and they really put in place ways that creators can grow. I'm personally on OF and Slushie. Those are my 2 main platforms, but I also do have, other accounts, other places. That way I have different options and I can make money on different platforms and everything. So just make sure that you're adapting with the times. You're seeing what is working for other people and you're learning from those experiences from people and you're trying different things. That's the thing. Sometimes you just need to try different platforms because one platform might work better for you than another. And even if one is bringing a little income here and a little income here, that's a big income when you put it together. So you have to think about those types of things and how you can really try different platforms and see what works for you, and you would be surprised. So I recommend Slushy. I have a referral link. You can use it. It's going to be in my beacons down below. And I talk about Slushy a lot, so I have a lot of videos on if you need any help on that platform. So definitely check out a lot of my other videos because I have helpful tips on tons of different platforms. But just make sure you're diversifying your work platforms. I think that in the long run, it'll be good to try out everything rather than just being like, I'm good here. You know, you don't want to be left behind because you were good there. Okay, another really, really awesome way to adapt with the times and make sure that you're, you know, in the know is connecting with creators. So it's community building. I would join groups, I create groups, I try to be as involved in the community as possible. I'm sure you know, I'm making videos about this. I have groups on Telegram, I have groups on Twitter, I have groups all over the place. I have groups on Discord, I have groups on Instagram, literally. I have groups everywhere, and it's because I want to be in the know. I want to know what's going on. I want to talk to other creators. I want to see what's working for them. I want to share what's working for me, and I also want to know what's not working for everyone, because the more you know, like, knowledge is key. Knowledge is everything, and if you are keeping yourself in the know, then you will be able to stay up with the times. You'll be able to adapt with when things are changing. You'll be able to be the first to know about new platforms or about new features or whatever. Just make sure you're in the know and stay in these groups, stay active, get to know creators, and I promise you that will help you and you will go further than if you just try to do everything on your own. You can do your content on your own, you can do your editing on your own, but if there's anything that is going to help you, it is learning and knowledge, and I feel like that is one of the most important things. And you also want to stay up to date with like marketing, learn about advertising, learn about everything about this industry, and that could be completely separate from like work. You want to think about all the different ways that you can learn that will help you in this career. And if there's ever like events that you can go to them. I mean, I haven't gone to any events, but I totally would. Yeah, just stay in communities, like grow your community of creators and friends, because that is the support you need to keep you going. And it also helps with motivation. Every time I talk to my group of friends where we get together every once in a while and just go over like what's working for us and all that, every single time I just leave feeling so inspired and so excited to create content and like try different techniques and strategies and stuff. And so I highly recommend doing that, finding people. And the best way to do that is literally to just reach out, find people that have a similar following to you, I would say, because it's harder to get to somebody if they have a way bigger following than you, just because their DMs are already flooded. But I think the algorithms just work better when you see someone that has the same following as you, then you're like, okay, this is mutually beneficial, and then you collaborate that way. So reach out to people that have a similar following to you and just keep reaching out. If somebody doesn't respond, keep going. That's what I do. So it's all about reaching out. And then going along with this, build your community of fans as well. One thing that I learned when my OF actually got banned was that I needed to build my community of fans somewhere else where I would not get banned and that I could keep my fans with me no matter what. So I created a Snapchat so that I have a place that I can keep my fans for free. I'm not going to get banned because I'm not doing anything there. I don't really like post there even, but it's just a place for me to stay in contact with them if any of my other platforms, get lost or whatever, or if my OF goes down again. It's just a place for me to keep a grasp of all them. So really build and cultivate that community of your fans as well. Get to know them so that they feel connected to you and they want to stick around. Okay, so that was my video on navigating the changes in this industry, specifically in OF. Personally, I'm over on Slushy a lot more now. I just feel really connected to it. And like I said, I've been working with them recently, and I feel so grateful for that opportunity with them because it's something I feel really passionate about growing that community. And I just feel really, really solid about Slushy. I feel like there's just so much potential there. And I feel like as creators, like I'm just trying to find the best place for us. And Slushy has been such a great place for creators. So that's why I really push them, and that's why I really believe in them. Like I said, all my links are down in my beacons. So you can find me at my Instagram or my Slushy or wherever you want to find me, or maybe all places. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye.